Hi, I'm super excited to share with you what I have today. So I have been wanting a tray that I can move around my craft room that has all the supplies for the current projects that I'm working on. The very next tumbler I'm making is for my daughter. She's been waiting a really long time. And I have a whole bunch of supplies that are not within reach because I'm rearranging my craft room, and I have a table in front of me that you can't see. I have my workstation. I have my storage bins behind me. Over here is actually my closet, and that's where I keep my cup turners. I would show it to you, but I'm really embarrassed because it's super messy. And then over on this side of my room is my sewing section. So my room is long and narrow, and it's split in half. On this side, I have all my tumbler making glitter supplies, and on that side is all my sewing stuff. So I am disorganized, and I'm trying to organize my spaces. So what I wanted is a cute little tray that I could just carry around, and then a separate one for my glitter containers, because my glitters are attached on my wall in front of me, beside me, and behind me. So I need to be able to have easy access to all my supplies just for the current project that I'm working on. So I made two trays. One is a big one is a little one. They turned out really cool, even with all the struggles that I went through trying to paint these, because I do not know how to paint. So I'm gonna put my glitters. So my daughter wants some blacks, and she wants some golds, and she wants some reds. So I'm gonna have all those glitters for her project right here in this little dish. And then I'm actually gonna place it inside this one. And then I'm gonna have my spray paint that I need. I need my sandy blocks, I need some acetone, I need all kinds of different supplies. So this is going to be my little tray that I have that I can just set up and put behind me and not worry about it until I am ready to start that next project. So that's where it's gonna be for my project. My table can be cleared off. I can just grab it, set it down next to me, start working, and then get it out of my way so it's not taking up so much space. So please stay tuned and watch what I have in store for you, and I hope you enjoy. Please leave comments down below, and that's enough chit chatter. To begin this project, I used my glue gun to make sure that all those cracks were sealed in so that my epoxy would not escape. And then I started painting with white Flippin' Awesome paint. Why I didn't paint the whole tray white? No clue, because I am not a painter and I am just a beginner, and I am making all kinds of mistakes with this project, but lessons are learned all over the place with this one. So had this tray been painted white first, then I wouldn't have to cover up those little areas that are peeking through with wood. So that is a big oops on my part, and you'll see how I try to correct that as this video continues on. But so what happened is I kept adding more colors of paint. I made this rose really dense with color. I was hoping that it would be a little more light and kind of whimsical, and that didn't happen. To paint this rose, I'm actually following a video that I will link below, and you saw my arm reach over and pause and rewind. I kept watching her video because I don't know how to freehand paint, and I wish that was an area that I'm better at. It's definitely a goal of mine to learn how to paint things without having to watch a tutorial, and to trust myself a little bit more is definitely a weakness in my creativity area. So I am painting. The rose on the left is supposed to have more detail. The rose on the right is supposed to be kind of in the background. So your attention is not supposed to be drawn to that rose in the background. I wind up making this rose really big, and so then I have to compensate by making the other rose bigger. It was just like a domino of events that just made my rose very interesting. But in the end, it turned out really cool, and I'm really happy I played with it. At one point, my son came in and said, "Wow, Mom, that is really pretty." I'm like, "Thank you," because I did not think it was pretty. So Sorry, I'm just being honest. So there I am painting with white to cover up the brown. And then I am putting 3 shades of green. So at this point, I just started doing my thing because I'm like, just following the video wasn't really working. So I just started doing my own thing. And so I'm painting green, just various colors all around. And then I'm going to go back over with some rose color petals and then continue spreading those roses out. And then you're going to see me paint a small tray. And that time with a small tray, I actually base painted it green first. I didn't even bother with the white much. I had a little bit of white, but mostly it was just I painted the roses over the top of the green. So that one turned out much better. But so here we go. So I'm just going to fast forward through this and you can watch how I put the green on. And then the cool part is in the end when I apply the epoxy with the gold foil flakes and the glitter, and then it really starts to come to life. Okay, at this point, I fixed my roses enough so that I actually really love them. So I added more white to bring the lightness to it, and then more dark to add some depth. So those turned out really good. So this was the one that I base painted with the greens first, and then I just let it dry completely, and then I painted my roses over the top. And I'm playing with leaves. Once again, I don't really know how to make leaves, so I'm just kind of winging it. So these 2 leaves turned out pretty cool, and then I did another one that was a little bit bigger, and then I just wanted it to kind of be sort of abstract, and so I just added some different little random green lines in there to make the leaves look sort of branchy. And I know that I'm giggling at my mistakes a lot, but you know what? Sometimes if you don't laugh at your mistakes, you'll cry. And this was one of those days where things were falling over and my epoxy was spilling on the carpet and paint was all over my hand. I actually dropped a bottle of paint and then I was messing up, and it just became funny. It was like a day of errors, one on top of the other, and it was just, it was funny. So you have to laugh. So this is where I started to get excited about the way it was turning out. So I'm adding, this is a brass colored patina paint that I got from Amazon. I'll link that below. And I thought it would be neat to kind of add that color in close to the reds and the wine colors, to kind of pull your eye. And it has like a sparkle in it, so it kind of pulls your eye in. And then I didn't want to put the patina paste on the rose that's supposed to be in the background. I only wanted it on the rose that's in the foreground that is supposed to have more detail. So I'm going to put the patina paste on this tray and the little tray, and then on both roses on the little tray. And then I'm also going to add some glitter. So I'm going to add some green glitter in with my epoxy and spread it around in the green sections. And then I'm going to add, it's called Man in the Moon from Glitter Heart Co. It's a mica powder, and I'm gonna add it in with the epoxy and put just a little bit of it just right around the light pink petal areas of the rose, and it turns out super cool. I also wanted to place some gold foil flakes pretty close to where I have that brass patina, to give it a little bit of a contrast. And so what I'm doing right now is I'm painting on with a very thin brush some tacket, and then I'm going to use my heat gun to dry the tacket to the point of just tackiness. And you can place your foil flakes right over the top of the tacket, and then if you just gently rub with your finger, you can place those foils and make them stick really good. And if you give it a little rub, the excess foils will just fall right off of there, and then you can brush the extra into your garbage can. But you can only do that if you don't have anything else wet on your board. So make sure your paint is totally dry. Make sure you don't have anything sticky that the foil flakes are going to stick to, because if you do, they're going to stick to everything because they are pretty messy. Once you've brushed off your loose foils with a dry brush, you can apply your mixed epoxy. So this is a thin viscosity epoxy. I mixed parts A with B for 3 minutes. And then for this one, the small one, I did 20 mLs of part A and 20 mLs of part B, so 40 mLs total. And I used the whole thing except for just a little smidge, and the extra is what I used to mix the gray mica powder, the Man in the Moon, and also the green and the green glitter, and yeah, the green and the Man in the Moon. So I just had a little bit of excess. For the big tray, I actually used 40, 40, 40. So I used 120 mLs all together for that one. What you want to do is pour the epoxy in, and then you want to just kind of shift and kind of twist and maneuver it so that the epoxy slides down the edge of all four edges, but also fills in the corners without rising too high over the sides there. After your epoxy is settled in, then I'm applying, right now I'm doing the Man in the Moon around the light pink areas, and then I'm going to apply the green in some of the green corners there. I'm going to do the same exact process on the large tray. So I'm going to dump the epoxy in one container at a time. I'm going to tilt it so that it slides along the edge and into the corners, and then apply my silver gray mica powder and my green. The very last step before you just leave these sit and cure and just walk away and don't touch them is to use your heat gun to move around that green glitter. This green has like a yellow color shift to it. So when you tip your tray, it kind of looks green and then it looks yellow and like goldish. It's so pretty. And so I wanted to move those glitters around as much as I could so that when your eye catches a different angle of the tray, you can see all those colors throughout, all around the green. So I'm just shifting the green. I'm not gonna do that with the Man in the Moon, and then I'm gonna use a torch to pop the bubbles and then just leave it. And then in the morning, these will be complete and ready to use. Thank you so much for watching as I stumble through this painting project. I'm going to continue to learn how to be a better painter. If you have any tips to throw my way, I would greatly appreciate it because I am no quitter.